There's a third facet of Jesus' resurrection, and that is God's grace. The grace of God. Isn't it an awesome thought to think that God pours his grace toward us? You might say, well, I'm not even sure what that is. What is grace? Let me tell you. Grace is when God gives you what you need instead of what you deserve. Most of us deserve far worse than what we really get. Grace is when God forgives you even before you ask. Grace is when God says, come on home, I'm not mad at you. Grace is when God forgives you and then gives you a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance, a 10th chance, 100th chance, 1,000th chance. How many times do you need that 1,000th chance saying, God, I need your grace? Grace is the power God gives you to change the things in your life that you cannot change on your own. In fact, the next breath you're going to take is because God's grace gives it to you. The breath that we take each passing day is the grace of God. Without God's grace, we have nothing. Zero, zippo, nothing. Everything we have is by God's grace. Everything you have is a gift from God, an act of God's grace. God knows you, and he knows what makes you tick, and he's watched every moment of your life. He saw you formed in your mother's womb. He watched you take your first breath. And God knows every thought you ever had, good, bad, and ugly. He knows it all. And we think, well, I hope nobody heard that. Well, hello. Yeah, too late. God heard it, I'm always amazed. I'm in different places, and when people know I'm a pastor, they'll say something and say, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm thinking, it doesn't matter whether I heard it, God heard it, He hears it all, he knows it all. Everything we've ever done, good, bad, or ugly, he's aware of it. He's seen it all, and he still loves you unconditionally. And the fact that he loves you unconditionally is an act of grace. Where did that grace come from? How is it that we can experience God's grace in that fashion? Let me tell you, that grace was bought for us on the cross and is guaranteed to us by his resurrection. That's the kind of grace that's ours to know if we will simply embrace it. God is saying to you today, come to me. Bring the good, bring the bad, bring the ugly, bring the embarrassing, bring the stuff you're ashamed of, the stuff nobody else knows about. Bring it to me and we'll work on it together. Just come to me and we'll work on it together. It's that kind of thing where God says, look, I want to just show you that I love you beyond measure. You say, but Pastor, you don't know what I've done. And the truth is, I don't know what you've done. You don't know what I've done either. And we're going to leave those things just between us and the Lord. You're right, I don't know the things you've done, but God does. He knows every single thing you've ever done, everything you've ever thought, and he says, look, it doesn't matter. Bring it to me, and we'll work on it together. The fact is, all of us have blown it. Anybody here not blown it? All of us have blown it. We've all made our mistakes. A few of them this morning, I would say, but we've all made them. The truth is, I don't measure up to my own standard, let alone God's. But God says, I want to erase your guilt. I want to wipe away all the things you've done wrong. I want to eliminate the shame. I can remember the day I got saved, the very first sense of emotion that I had was a sense of complete peace and just a sense of God lifting the burden of shame and guilt and the weight of sin off me. I just felt so free and light. Joy and peace began to flood my soul because I knew that I was no longer responsible for the things that I had done because God had forgiven me. I'm telling you, until you experience it, you've never come to, you just don't know what kind of joy and peace I'm talking about. When God lifts that load, it is something beyond description. It's an act of his grace. We've blown it. But God says, I want to eliminate that whole thing that where you've blown it, and I want to make it right. That, my friend, is called grace. You might say, well, how do I get it? Well, let me tell you something. It's simply a gift. You can't earn it. You can't buy it. It's a gift. A gift of his love, a gift of God's forgiveness, a gift to help us in changing our lives. And all you can do is simply accept it. Simply embrace it. Simply say, thank you, Lord God, for your gift of grace. It's awesome. Pretty awesome. Truth is, you don't have enough money in your bank account if it were something that could be bought. Thank God it's free. It's free to all of us if we'll simply embrace it.